thousands killed, repeated threats, nuclear proliferation, death to America. And you keep asking why? Yes, I'm talking about the United States of America bombing and basically going to war with Iran along with Israel. Iran has been around for 47 years, and they haven't been good 47 years. It all started in 1979. And since then, there have been thousands who have been murdered by the Iranian people. I shouldn't say the people, the Iranian government, and terrorists who are sponsored by the Iranians. Now, the sources, different sources will give you different numbers. The Iranian government, a little over 3,000, released 2,400 civilians that were killed, some security forces. Okay, this is the Iranian government. The same government that said they were not planning to build any nuclear weapons, that their nuclear program was not for nuclear weapons. Yet they were at 60% enrichment. I'll get into what that means here shortly. Now, the international media, The Guardian, The Times, they estimate the dead to be around 30,000. And leaked information coming from the Iranian international documents is 36,500. Let's look at the two-day massacre that just occurred in January of this year, the 8th and 9th. These individuals were Iranian citizens standing up against the government of Iran, the terrorists, and wanting their country free. There was a massacre that occurred those 2 days, and the estimates are around 30,000 people who were killed, murdered by these forces. What did they use? They used security forces, people that were trained to kill, and heavy weaponry. They targeted all kinds of people, minorities, Persians. If you go back and remember, before Iran was called Iran, it was called Persia. The Persians lived there. There are people out there that will say that it's been Iran for 500, 1,000 years. And there's disagreements and arguments on both sides that I could call them legitimate, but I really don't consider it Iran and the Iran that it is today until 1979, when they went bonkers and put in all this Sharia law and started treating women the way they treat them. That's when Iran really, really, really started. Okay, so now they've killed all these minorities and stuff. People survived. Not everybody died. So what did they do next? The Iranian government soldiers went into the hospitals and they murdered the people there that were injured. This is definitely not good people, right? Then there were also executions that were done right in the street. I think, in my opinion, everybody that was killed by these soldiers, these terrorists, those are executions. I don't care. But they did formal executions, and they were threatening it. Trump, his administration were saying, you need to stop this. But this was after they had already done executions previously in previous years. So Trump was up there saying, no, we're not putting up with this. The United Nations even got involved. The United Nations. I have my opinion of the United Nations or where they stand and how strong they are. But they're investigating them for humanitarian crimes, and they are trying to tell them to stop. Now, they haven't. People are afraid to come out of their homes, not because they're afraid the United States of America or Israel is going to bomb them. We don't do like the Iranians, and we don't bomb hospitals and residential areas. That's the Iranian government, the terrorist. Those are the people that have been around since 1979, 47 years. And you're asking why in the world are we going to war with Iran? They're killing people. In 1979, these radical Islamic terrorists started a revolution. And their Shia extremism came about. Their Al-Qaeda came about. Their ISIS came about. Their increased terrorism came about. And it hasn't stopped. It's continued to go on and on and on. It started, I'll tell you that they have some state-sponsored terrorism attacks that are there in 1979 through 81. Iranian militants, they seized the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. Anybody my age, some people a little bit younger, will remember this. Will remember it very well. It was all over the televisions. It was a horrific time. They held 52 Americans hostage for 444 days. I'm sorry. That's BS, okay? You don't take American citizens hostage. In 83, there was a suicide truck bombing at the U.S. Marine Barracks in Beirut. We all remember that too as well. Us older folks, more seasoned. It killed 241 U.S. service persons. You just killed 241 people who volunteered to serve their country and protect it. To me, that's a declaration of war. We didn't go to war, not then. In 88, there was a flight, Pan American Flight 103, that was shot down over Scotland. Now, all the research, all the investigating, everything that went on, they ended up saying it was Libya that was responsible for it. In my opinion, it may have been Libya, who's no longer, that we took care of already, Mr. Gaddafi. But Iran was involved. Terrorist cells, themselves, which they sponsor all the terrorist cells, they were all involved. Then their global jihad, whatever you want to call it, but they call it a jihad. The rise of that started going in 1993, and to me, it still goes on, but they talk about it in what I've seen and read. They take it through 2010, and it talks about the World Trade Center bombing in 1993. I know none of the younger people know about that because that was 1993, okay? But it was a bombing that took place, and it killed 6 people and it injured over 1,000, okay? We didn't declare war on them when they did that. In 1996, the Khobar Towers were bombed in Saudi Arabia. In 1998, the U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania were bombed, and they killed 224 people. We didn't declare war. We didn't bomb Iran and take them out. September 11th, 2001. That's a day that none of us will ever forget that we're alive. We spent time in a 20-plus year wars because of that. They bombed the World Trade Center September 11th, 2001. It killed over 2,977 people in New York City, Arlington, and Shanksville. All those people died. We talk about the World Trade Center, but it was more than one airplane involved. And we had heroes that took one down in Pennsylvania. So, but guess what we did or didn't do? We didn't immediately bomb them, but we sure as heck got in there and took out other folks. Iran was involved with it. I guarantee you, they are the biggest sponsor of terrorism around the world. But Iran has considered to exist for all these years. More recently, 2009, there was a shooting right here in Texas at Fort Hood. 13 people were killed. In 2014 to 24, ISIS and the lone wolf started coming in more. We've lost a lot of, I lost a lot of fellow brothers and sisters because of people like ISIS fighting the 20-year wars. In 2015, there was a San Bernardino shooting that killed 14 people at a party. It was ISIS. 2016, the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando, 49 people. 2017, it was a truck ramming attack on New York City bike path, and it killed 8 people. Naval Air Station Pensacola, there were 3 people killed in a shooting there. All of this are terrorists. All of these terrorists are sponsored by the number one sponsor of terrorism, and that's Iran. Currently, more recently, just so we show that it didn't stop, the 1st of January, there was an ISIS-inspired truck ramming on Bourbon Street. It killed 14 people. March 1st, right here in Texas again, in Austin, Texas, 2 people at a bar were killed by a pro-Iranian person. Let me say that again, pro-Iranian. Iran, okay? March 12th, an ISIS-affiliated gunman killed the Old Dominion University in Virginia. I know y'all are seeing this on the news. Maybe it's not as big or it's not covered as well by some of the old media, the ABCs, the CBSs, the CNNs that don't want you to know everything. But go look around. Go on the internet and search it. Go watch other networks. Yes, I'm going to say Fox. I watch that, but I watch the other networks and I watch the different coverages. And it is amazing how different it is. Like, for example, since this war started, how those particular networks, CBS, CNN, are making out as these terrorists, these Iranian government people are so wonderful. And how could we kill them? Go watch it. It's sickening. Now, are we any good at preventing terrorist attacks? Yes. Yes. About 3 out of 4, we tend to be able to stop. Okay. So you can just consider dozens and dozens, but it's an average of 3 or 4. 3 of 4 are stopped. Now, we move to epic fury when we decided we weren't putting up with it anymore. Donald Trump tried to negotiate and to work it out so that the Iranian government would stop their nuclear proliferation and goals to have nuclear bombs. They don't need nuclear bombs. They're terrorists. If there's any one of you listening that doesn't believe they're terrorists, you either need to open up your mind and listen or just get the heck out of here. They are terrorists. And they need to be done away with. 60%. What does that mean? You'll hear, and I've heard morons on the internet talking about this. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Am I upset? I'm very upset. The morons that I read and hear on the internet, on the TV, talking about they were nowhere near having the capabilities of having nuclear weapons. Shut your mouths. You don't have a clue. You need to get an education. It's almost laughable if it wasn't serious. 60%. You know what that's also called? The finish line. You know what the finish line is? That means you ran over the finish line in a race. You're there. It's called the finish line. And that's not just by President Trump or me. That's the experts out there. When you're at 60%, you're almost there. You're at the finish line. The IAEA and the Trump administration, as well as many other international observers, said that Iran could be considered a latent nuclear status country, meaning it possesses the material and the knowledge to assemble a weapon in a matter of days or weeks if the political decision is made. Did you hear that? Days or weeks. This was before the Trump administration and Israel began bombing Iran and began bombing Iranian weapons, nuclear sites, any government sites where their leaders were, not hospitals, not the Iranian citizens. That is not what they went after. Now, unfortunately, there are casualties of war. Any one of us that was in the military knows that. There's friendly fire. That's a casualty of war. There are some times that bombs go off the wrong way. Things happen. It is not the intent of the United States government, of President Trump, of Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, anyone in that administration, to purposely kill innocent civilians. We pray for them and we feel for them, their families, everyone involved. It's horrible. It's terrible. Unfortunately, there are casualties of war. This is a necessary war. I'm trying to show you the history and right now where they are, where they were and where they are, because we don't have that stuff stopped yet. That's why we're still bombing. So let's look at it technically. You go, well, they were at 60%, so it probably takes forever to get to 90%. Not if you do your research. It sure as heck doesn't. And they got people that know what they're doing, okay? They're not stupid. This is what they do, okay? Mathematically, it's a real small movement. It's not like 30 points. It's mathematically can be done very quick. Approximately 99% of the effort required to reach weapons grade is already done once the uranium reaches 60%. Did you hear me? 99% is done once you reach 60% with uranium. Where were they, are they? 60%. But why attack them? They're possibly days, weeks away from a weapon. Trump didn't just decide to go and have a war. They thought about this. They tried hard to not have a war, but we can't let these people have nuclear weapons. We have got to stop these people from killing their citizens. We've got to try and allow Iran, the Iranian people, to take over and make their country what they want. There are people dancing in the streets. There are people celebrating in Iran. There are people who have come to this country and other countries that are celebrating. They love Trump for doing this. Before we started striking them in February, their breakout time needed to produce 90% was less than a week. Less than a week. I said it, less than a week. But no, they were still years out. Years out. I just don't get it. They call the fuel fissile material. They had achieved this. Using their existing IR-6 centrifuges, they could bridge the gap to 90% almost immediately. Again, do you want a nuclear weapon going off in Israel, in Saudi Arabia? No, we don't live there, but those are our friends. Those are people we work with. Those are people that Iran is currently bombing. They're bombing nations around them, even though they said they wouldn't do that. And they're still saying they're not doing it, but they're doing it. So who are you going to listen to? Who are you going to believe? Why would you want to let Iran exist? They could fashion up a crude, rudimentary device like a truck bomb in 3 to 8 months. Epic fury and the combination of the U.S. and Israel that started on February 28th started, as I mentioned before, they going after their leaders, their stockpiles, their weapons, trying to take out anything that prevents them from functioning as the terrorist government that they are, the radical Islamic government that they are. Gets them out of power, gets their citizens safe, and makes everything okay. The summary of this is enrichment to 90% could have happened in a week. 1 week. So we had to do something. They were not willing to stop. They were not willing to negotiate. A crude device assembly, 3 to 6 months, and missile head warheads, 1 to 2 years coming to the U.S. The UK, bombing friends and family. Nuclear. Nuclear is not just a bomb that goes off and kills the people around it. The radiation travels. It kills hundreds of thousands, millions. Dropped in the right place. Dropped in the middle of Houston, Texas. Could kill millions. Epic fury was 100% a necessity. Did Donald Trump, did Pete Hegseth, Did anyone else in that administration want to go to war? No, they did not. None of them are warmongers. None of them. They tried everything they could peacefully to get Iran to stop killing their people, stop killing other people, and stop putting together nuclear weapons to kill millions. Death to America, death to Israel. They want us wiped out completely. We had to stop them. It was the right thing to do. I agree 100%. Let me know what you feel at the end of the day. I'm going to talk about another controversial subject. I'm in that mood. MAGA. M-A-G-A. MAGA. Make America Great Again. It's been around a while. It's a slogan that Donald Trump came up with in 2016 when he ran for his first election as president. That's how it got popularized. It went on to hats and shirts, and people followed it. Now, let's go back a little ways. There was something that was said very, very similar to that in the 80s, 1980. Ronald Reagan said it. He said, let's make America great again. It's one word different from what Trump said, make America great again. I was around then. I don't remember the crazy, hard, left-leaning public and Congress people losing their minds when Ronald Reagan said, let's make America great again. Show me. Maybe I missed it. I was a bit younger. But Donald Trump came out with it, and the hard left have lost their ever-loving minds. MAGA has become much more of a catchphrase since its inception. It's a political ideology. It's what Trump pushes. It's what everybody believes. It's even kind of carried over into Make America Healthy Again. Other slogans. It's all about making things better. For the life of me, I cannot understand why anybody in the United States of America would not want to make America better. Make it great again. There's a lot of things that this country has lost. Manufacturing. The majority of manufacturing takes place in other countries, not here, not in the United States of America. All those manufacturing jobs gone. There's so many jobs, telemarketers, answering services, they're in other countries. There's so much that has been farmed out to other countries and isn't here. We want people to have jobs. They say, oh, they're taking away our jobs. And they are. They're farming it out. Trump's trying to bring all of that back to the United States of America. That's where Make America Great comes from. The core ideas behind it is that it's about getting more American manufacturing and jobs here again. That's what it means. I just said that. Stronger border security, reduced illegal immigration. I call it illegal aliens sneaking into our country. That's what I call it. Because that's what it is. It's not immigration. I have family and I have friends that immigrated to this country legally. Welcome. Anyone is welcome that wants to come here legally. If I can help you, I will help you. If anything, I'll pray for you. But come on legally. If you're illegal, get out. Don't even think about coming. Trump's done a great job of stopping them from coming compared to what Biden did, letting in all of them, anybody and everybody. Economic protectionism. Tariffs. Oh no, don't do a tariff. The economy's going to go in the crapper. We're going to lose. Everything's going to go terrible. All the experts, all the people that were so smart that said all these horrible things about Donald Trump instituting all these tariffs, what were they? WRONG. Wrong. It didn't do what they said it was going to do. The economy's gotten better. Everything has gotten better. I'm not talking about since the war started, since we started bombing and oil prices going up. That pretty much knew that was going to happen. We'll deal with that for a little while. When it's over with, the prices will drop again. And the hard-leaning lefties who are blaming Trump today for the fuel prices going up, the oil prices going up, they won't give him the credit for when it goes down when it's over. They won't, because that's how they function. I'm getting off on another subject. Make America great. Rebuilding military strength. Done a great job of doing that. The military is getting stronger and stronger. Look at what we can do. Returning to traditional culture, to our values. Getting rid of this wokeism and this crazy policies and men becoming women and men going into women's restrooms. No. Crazy liberals might want that. I'm not saying every liberal. So if you're a liberal and you're getting mad at me, but you're not one of the crazy ones, then I'm not talking about you. I have friends that are liberals. I can sit and talk with them. I'm okay with that. I'm talking about the ones that are way, way out there. The hard lefties, just like the hard righties. I don't like all the hard righties either, any more than I like the hard lefties. I want honest people that are believing in America and what we can do with America. Reducing foreign entanglements and focusing on the U.S. interests, reducing foreign products, getting more things built here. Now, it depends, and it's a lot different between supporters. Like me, a supporter of MAGA, I think it's a patriotic thing. It's bringing back economic positivity to America. It's about making America better. It's securing our borders. It's getting rid of illegals. It stayed in place even when Trump was gone. Everybody was yelling about it, wanting to make America great again. They wanted President Trump back in office. He won again in 2024, and it's still out there. MAGA. I get called by hard lefties a MAGA. They put me down. The slogan, yes, it was brought back, getting rid of let's by Trump. It was originally something that Reagan said in 1980. He didn't push it as much as Trump did. Trump pushed it, and it has become a bigger thing. A MAGA person is basically someone who aligns and supports Donald Trump and the political movement built around Make America Great slogan. We want America better. Now, critics And that would be the media, the left-leaning media. And the hard left, and maybe some of the soft left. They call it a populist movement. They think that it's tied to people that have a nostalgia for globalization, for non-globalization and pre-multicultural era. And they say that it identifies with white supremacy, race, and gender. They're wrong. Maybe a hard, radical righty. That might be how they think. But again, how do the hard, radical lefties think? Again, I'm more in the middle, and I think most of you are more in the middle. If I'm wrong, tell me. Blast me. Now that is the opinion of people on the right of what MAGA is. That's what we think and know MAGA is. That's the real truth about MAGA. MAGA is a slogan. MAGA is people who care about America a great deal. MAGA loves America. We love the right, the policies of the Republican Party, for the most part. I don't agree with all of them. As I've mentioned before, I'm a libertarian who leans right. And there's certain things I don't agree with about what's on the right. But it's a heck of a lot better than a lot of what's on the left. And I, as well as many others, work to try to fix the things we don't agree with on the right. We don't scream and shout, and we don't protest, and we don't go and blow things up and shoot people just because we don't agree with it. Maybe radical righties, maybe radical lefties do that. But those of us who truly believe in MAGA don't. Now, the left, especially the radical, very left-leaning people, hate MAGA. I know people who have called me such nasty names, who have put me down and insulted me, called me stupid for supporting MAGA, for supporting Donald Trump. Whatever. Just because they're not as intelligent as me, that's their problem. Again, what is it they don't like? They think it's a nationalist or extreme populism type movement. It's anti-immigration. We want immigration, but we want it legally. We don't want illegal aliens sneaking into this country, and then many of them being criminals, raping women, molesting children, robbing people, killing people, stealing. I mean, come on. We don't want it. But it's okay with the radical left. They think we're crazy. They think it formulates attacks on democratic institutions. I'm not even sure if I know. It's a conspiracy-driven political movement. I don't think I believe in conspiracies. I try to read and talk about factual items. But that's what the radical left says. Now, who is the left-leaning? It's Democrats that consider themselves progressives because they're progressive. Socialist? Far left ideologies. Does that mean communism? I think so. There's a lot of people on the left, far left, that lean to communism, or they already are a communist, in my opinion. They don't see it as just a slogan. They see it as a dangerous ideological force that threatens core democratic principles and social progress. Social progress. Men saying that they're women and competing in sports against women. That's social progress? Don't think so. They think it's, as I mentioned before, white supremacy. They're calling me a white supremacist. You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. I love this country, and I love everybody in it. Even if you're on the left, I love you. I want to try to educate you. I want to try to get you to see what I see. You quite possibly could share some things with me if we could sit down and have a logical conversation. I might even see some of the things you believe in and go, that's not so bad. I could see that because I already know I believe in some of the stuff on the left as well, just not as much. That's why I lean to the right. Racism and white supremacy, that's what they say. It's prevalent in the MAGA movement. White heterosexual Christian men are idolized and are the dominant force in MAGA. I don't believe so. Strict immigration controls and enforcement. What's wrong with that? What other country allows people to illegally come into their country and live there? Give them money, give them food, give them housing, education. I don't know of one. If you do, put it in the comments and let me know about it. I don't know of anybody. It's a threat to democracy, as I said, and society. They think we're anti-democratic and that we're dismantling the social safety nets and the environmental protections. We're not dismantling any environmental protections. This country, I think, is a leader in environmental issues. Is the sky falling? No. Is there climate change? Absolutely, 100% there's climate change. There's climate change at my house every darn day. A couple of days ago, it was in the 80s. It was warm. I woke up the other morning, it was 36 degrees outside. You know what that is? That's climate change. It might be raining in a couple of days. And right now, today, it's a sunny day. That's climate change. If you go look at the facts about where the world was going to end, go ask Al Gore. The oceans were rising. I mean, there was time frames set of when things were going to happen. And if you go look at them, none of them have happened. None of them. I'm getting off on another subject because it just drives me nuts sometimes. Excuse me. The opinions from the left, I don't think they're as strong for some people. Same thing with the right. Again, there's radical lefties, there's radical righties. Okay, I believe it's more from the radical people. The far left, like the far left media, again, like CNN and CBS and ABC, think that we're crazy if we support MAGA and we support Trump. We're not bad. We're not regressive. We're not racist people. We don't want the country to fail. We want the country to grow and become better. That's what we want. At the end of the day, I think we could come together, and I think we could make things better. It's going to take discussion from both sides. The screaming and the yelling on the internet, the inability to talk to somebody and have a nice conversation who's on the other side is ridiculous. I can sit down and talk. I can have an honest conversation and disagree with you, and I'm not going to lose my mind, start yelling at you and hate you. Now, if you attack me and you start calling me names, I'm going to probably walk away because I don't want to do something that both of us are going to regret. I sure as heck don't want to stoop to your level, that person's level, and use the language and the hatred. Because as I mentioned prior, I was raised not to hate. So let's try to come together on this subject. I hope you'll come back next show. Make sure you're here, because we're going to dive straight in to the fire of the DHS shutdown that's going on right now. We've got thousands of TSA officers and border agents that are working for nothing. They're not getting paid. Unfortunately, a lot of these people live paycheck to paycheck, but they're not making a dime. And they're still coming to work. Others are taking second, third jobs to just try to make enough money to keep their families fed. There's a game going on. It's a game of chicken, I think, from the left, not from the right. They want all these new laws. They want to unmask the ICE agents who are being doxxed and their families are being threatened. They want to unmask them. I'm going to talk to you about what they're really after, what the left is after, what the Trump administration is refusing to budge on, and why it's essential. That essential is just a fancy word for working for free. I'm going to be loud. I'm going to be honest. And it's definitely going to be nuclear. Now, that's the spice rack for today. Consider yourselves warned. If this take was a little too nuclear for you, or you want a hotter one of your own, I want to hear about it. Send us a note. Head over to the Apple Podcast, to YouTube, to Spotify, or wherever you stream, and hit that follow button too. Let me know what you're thinking in the reviews. It's the best way to help this show grow and keep these takes coming so you can listen. Until then, stay seasoned, stay spicy, and keep it unfiltered. I'm Steveo. Peace.